Law 17, seize the historical moment. The law of generational myopia. I think that's how you say it. Don't make fun of me. But this is a very, very interesting chapter of a very, very interesting book. And this chapter really entails that, like, each generation kind of has its own issues, kind of has its own zeitgeist about it. And we all need to understand these things. We need to understand the ties, and we need to understand what goes into making people tick in our generation so that we can really maximize it to the most. And the example that Robert Greene uses is the French Revolution and a few figures in the French Revolution, and how they really went about seizing the moment, how they really went about seizing the air of mistrust in the government, mistrust in the misalignment of the French government with the people. And it's really interesting to see, because I feel like we're almost in a similar time where not that there's the same revolutionary spirit, but there's the same distrust, there's the same growing anguish with the people in power and the people who are like, why aren't you representing my interest? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Why are you saying that you're going to do one thing but you never follow through? And it's almost inspirational to see that, like, the more people get pushed, the more people will rise up. And it's almost a part of human nature at this point to kind of buck against the system and kind of get fed up. And Robert Greene breaks it down into 4 generations. And hopefully I remember this right, but the first generation is the revolutionary generation. The second generation is the generation that wants comfort. The third generation is the one that starts to understand that something's wrong and starts to push against it. And then the fourth generation is the rebels, the people that go out and take action and do things for themselves. And it's interesting to kind of pinpoint where we are, and it's interesting to kind of understand this in the grand scheme of things. But the reason this is important is because you can focus on yourself all day. You can focus on the things that you can do in your life, but if you never really understand the outside circumstances, you'll never be able to affect as big of a change as you possibly can, because you'll never be able to relate with people around you. You'll never be able to relate with the goings and what is really going on in the overall thoughts. And this is something that I think about more and more, because, I mean, especially in this space, like, I feel like I don't even know what I'd classify myself as. I don't even know what I would say, like, my target audience is, but, like, I have to say things in a certain way so that certain people will see it. I have to talk about certain things so that people will click on the videos, because I can't talk about present moment awareness. I can't talk about, being okay with just not having any goals, not having any ego, not having any of these things. Like, these are all messages I put in, but, like, I have to understand what is popular. I have to understand what is going to resonate with the young men, the young individuals that listen to my videos, because it's almost at the point, like, I'm trying to direct people in the right direction. I see the comings and goings. I see what is going on in the psyche. I see the overall just depressed state and the overall unconsciousness of the current society. And I'm trying to push people in the right direction, but I have to see where the tides are going, what is happening, and I need to ride that wave. I need to understand the trends and understand how things are really interacting so that I can position myself to make the biggest impact. And I don't necessarily know if this is something that you have to think about every day, but it's something that, if you understand the macro about it, if you understand the overall trends and where things are going, it's going to greatly benefit you, because you can, go with it instead of being, swept up in it. You can understand where things are escalating to. And if you really want a good perception on this, just, like, look back to history. Look back when the people were starting to push back on government overreach, on other things like that. Like, what were the predominant thoughts? What were the predominant beliefs? What came out of it? And I'm not saying that, like, anything crazy is going to happen, but, like, it still is very important to understand where people are coming from and understand what could possibly happen. What could possibly happen if this doesn't get into wraps? What could possibly happen if things don't start to calm down? And how can you position this to benefit yourself the most? Because that's what it's about. It's about using everything around you in your surroundings to make the most of your life, make the biggest impact, make the most good and the most just overall righteousness and light into this world. So this is a very interesting law. I really suggest reading this chapter for yourself, because Robert Greene uses a lot of really, really good examples. And one more thing he talks about is, like, the most well-adjusted people are the people that can communicate with the generation after them and the generation before them. So, like, being able to relate to people older than you and being able to relate to people younger than you can kind of give you an overall picture of what is going to happen, of what is really, really going on. And through this, you can really, really understand where you can push yourself to, ride the wave, and make the most of your life. So I'll leave a link to this book in the description. Thank you so much for making this far. Hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Join my Discord, or if you want more breakdowns from me, if you want more information from me, if you want to speed up the process of your learning, I have a paid community. Go ahead, join that. The price is going to go up. Thank you so much for making this far. I love all of you guys.